Hey guys, it's Mr. Walker here, and I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of review our ELA work for the week and go a little bit more into the specifics of what we're looking for from you guys. So hopefully to quell any confusion or answer any questions that you might have and give you guys maybe a head start on some of the work that we're doing. So I'm here in the ELA course and I'm at week 2, and there's a couple things going on this week. We have one lesson here of theme on the Oregon Trail. I can tell because it's an external tool that it's linked to. And then you have another lesson, chapters in a story on the Oregon Trail. Now the first lesson that you have actually has 2 assignments after it for this week. So it's got a little bit extra to it, but I'm going to show you both of those things. And then after you do this lesson, chapters in a story on the Oregon Trail, there is a quiz that you can take. So we got a lot of stuff going on, but really not too much if we take a look at what we're being asked to do. So I'm going to jump to this lesson real quick. And it's going to look something like this. Okay, so we have Caroline and her family have reached Fort Bridger State Historic Site in Wyoming. Sweet, there she is. All right, so we're going to be reading through a couple things this week. But one thing I like to do, to be honest, every time when I come into one of these lessons is I like to jump to that end page. So I'm going to go all the way to page 12. Now last week our assignment in the course was a little bit different than the one they assigned you within the lesson. So to check on that, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go back to the course, and we have these 2 lessons on the Oregon Trail, reading summary and graphic organizer. And if I look back on that lesson page, we have a reading summary and informative graphic organizer. I'm sorry, a reading summary and an informative graphic organizer. So they are the same this week, just so you guys know. So there's 2 things. And one is going to be an informative writing graphic organizer, so we're starting another writing piece this week. And on top of that, we're also going to be doing a reading summary. So I know that those are the 2 things that I need to turn in this week. So I'm going to take a peek at the reading summary first. Let's bring that up. And this is the rubric for it. So this is how I'm going to be graded as a student. So we want to know how to talk about story elements and answer questions about the text, right? Identifying important details, that's one thing. The second thing is I wrote a text summary. This is going to be a big piece here that describes who the characters are, what they wanted, the challenges they faced, and how they solved the problem. So it's something else I'm going to have to do within this lesson. And then the last thing is I wrote an actual summary of chapter 3 of the Buffalo Hunt. So all of these things is how we're going to be graded on the reading summary part of things. Okay. And on top of that, we're also starting an informative writing graphic organizer. So we've seen that before. Looks like this. Okay, you're going to have our writing prompt, which I'll show you where to find that in a second. You're going to need a hook, a bridge, a controlling idea, all of those good things, and then some paragraphs. Okay, as you can see, there are 3 pages of this. So make sure that you're looking at all of those pages, not just doing the first one and calling it good. We need 3 different ideas, 3 different topics that we're going to be discussing here, as well as an introduction and a conclusion. So keep that in mind. If we go back to that page 12 again in the lesson, your writing prompt can be found right here. The prompt for this week or the next couple weeks as we write this informative essay is on the Oregon Trail is about Otis's journey along the Oregon Trail. Using what you learned from the story details, explain what life was like in the Oregon Trail. Use evidence from chapters 1 through 3 to support your response. So based on this story, the 3 chapters that we've read, we're going to write about what life was like on the Oregon Trail. So keep that in mind. That is our writing prompt for the week. Or again, for the next couple weeks as we write on our informative writing piece. So knowing that that's my assignment, the first thing I'm going to focus on is this reading summary. Okay, so I'm going to go back through the lesson, through the FLVS lesson, and again, there's a lot of things in these lessons, a lot of really important stuff, but if we kind of read this lesson with a focus, it can help us determine and do a good job at what we're actually being asked to turn in. So I'm not saying you want to fly through the other stuff and just look for the important things, but if it helps you to kind of narrow it down or give you a focus for what you're reading, that's what we're all about. A couple cool tricks I want to show you guys, that you guys probably already know more about this than I do, but you have these tools over here, okay? And first of all, you can have this read to you, you can pause it, you can stop it at any time, you can even click the play, and then click this little hand here, and jump to a part that you want it to read if you only want it to read a certain part. So I could click here, it'll start on that sentence, or go down to another sentence if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Another trick that I have learned is down here is like a full screen mode. So it's kind of hard to see within Canvas, even though you can close that little menu. That helps a little bit too. You can also open this in full screen. On my computer, I actually have to right click and then open it in a new tab. And what will happen is it'll pop up and look like this. So it's a little bigger, a little bit easier to kind of navigate around. All right. This first page here is just kind of setting everything up. I'm not going to read through that with you guys. I'm going to let you read it on your own. Our second page here is learning intent, if you will. It's kind of like setting us up for what we're going to be learning about. And using our context clues. So this talks about how to use your context clues to figure out what some different words mean, one of them being the word intent. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and read through that. Make sure you're paying attention to that and the root words and all that kind of stuff as well. Page 3 gives us more about words. It's kind of like our word work for the week, so make sure you're paying attention to this because this is going to come up on that quiz later in the week, I'm sure. Page 4 begins to talk about theme a little bit, which is our overall kind of encompassing thing for this lesson. And if we think about it for a second, we can just talk about theme. Theme is something the authors want their readers to learn, like the message to the story, right? That's why they kind of leave clues for us to find. If you even look at, like they have pointed out over here, the message and theme, it kind of has like a same beginning to it, right? So we want to make sure that we read this a little bit to help you kind of become familiar what the theme is and what that means in an overall story. It's something we do a lot. It's also an ELA goal, so if we meet for ELA, we can discuss what the theme is of this story. So read through that part about theme, and then here you can read some more to learn about what theme. You got some cool graphic organizers and all kind of stuff all about theme, and you can determine the theme of the first 2 chapters that we read previously. Here on page 5 is where we get into the nitty-gritty of the first assignment, which is that reading summary. So super summaries, when you want to share what you have learned about a story with a friend or family member, you want to be able to tell them the most important parts of the story and the theme. Watch the video to learn more about how you can create a super summary. So there's a video over here, that talks about creating a summary. So make sure that you watch that, and if I come down here a little bit more, there's some things that we can kind of check off to make sure that we're including when we're summarizing a story. It does start here with saying take out your summarize anchor chart for narratives from your interactive notebook. If you don't have that, or if you're not sure where to find it, you can come to this first assignment here, reading summary. I'm going to click on that. It's going to open here, and the summarize anchor chart is actually attached right here. It looks like this. Bring it over here. All right. Summarize. When summarizing a story, it's important to include the information about the characters, their problem, the solution, and the resolution of the story. And we most often use the somebody wanted but so then message. Who are the characters, the somebody? What did they want? What was the problem? How do they solve the problem? What's the resolution? So all of those things can help you. If you include that in your summary, that's going to help you to write a really strong summary and earn all of those points on that rubric. It's going to be shorter than the text. It's going to use your own words, and it's going to have the most important details only in there. So keep that in mind. We're not writing 17 paragraphs about this story. We're writing a summary, which is about 1 paragraph, maybe a little bit bigger than that, but not paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. So looking back in the lesson here, it's going to say you can use this chart to help you summarize chapter 2, the wagon train. Now this is like our preview one, right? This is kind of one that we're working on together, because if we scroll down, it kind of does it for us. So somebody, Otis and Will, what do they want? To get to the end of the trail, but the journey is very long and difficult. It's hot, the ground is uneven, a lot of stuff was kind of holding them back. So this is what happened then, okay? You're kind of getting the idea of how that comes together. You guys can read those. You don't need me to read those all to you. It has then an example of a summary, but this one's kind of long, right? It's got a really heavy paragraph going on there. So you can read through that and think about what are some things maybe we can cut back on a little bit. And then look at that final summary, which is kind of trimmed up and really tells a really good, succinct summary of the story. So this is kind of to practice with, to see how to write a summary and what it would look like, okay? On the next page, page 6, you're going to read chapter 3, the buffalo hunt. And you're going to, as you read, you're going to be writing a summary. You're going to be at the end of it, you want to be able to summarize Chapter 3, the buffalo hunt on the Oregon Trail, from the Oregon Trail. Make sure to include the theme in your summary. So again, if you're not sure what the theme is, go back to page 4, review that. That talks all about theme. If you want to practice with summarizing some more, go back to page 5, practice with summarizing with the stuff that we read from last week. Okay? Again, and you can also use this summarize anchor chart from the assignment page to help you out as well, so to know what we're looking for. So I'm going to come through here, scroll down a little bit. A lot of good direction here. Don't forget to read that. But here's Chapter 3 of On the Oregon Trail. So as you read through here, you can keep in mind some specific information that you might want to include in your summary. Like, again, the characters, what they wanted, the problems they encountered, how did they solve the problems, and what's the resolution. Those are all the things we're going to be looking for. So as you go through this, you can use another tool up here. If you go to the little wrench guy up here, this toolbox, we have the text selector tool. And you have some tools in here that you can use to help you keep track of this information. So if I come in here and say, Otis, he was a character, right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on that pencil. It highlights Otis's name. Let's see who else. We have the captain here, highlight his name. And Will's probably in here somewhere, but I don't see him. But anyway, you get the idea. So you can use this to help you out. If you wanted to circle maybe some of the problems, I know this isn't a problem, but again, you can highlight the text, click circle, it circles it for you. So you can take some note taking within this actual reading if you want to, if that helps you out when writing your summary. Then once you've read the whole thing, you're going to summarize it. Okay, summarize it using this method, the somebody wanted but so then method. And you're going to write a good paragraph, not a sentence, not 3 words. You're going to give a good paragraph about what happened in Chapter 3 of the story. Again, on the other side of that, we don't want 17 paragraphs either. We don't want to basically reread the whole story. We want a nice summary, a good solid paragraph that explains everything that happened using this method here. You can do this on just a regular sheet of notebook paper. You can type it up in Microsoft Word or any other like online kind of typing program. However you want to get it done to submit it is totally fine. There's not a specific graphic organizer or something you have to use for this. You're just creating a summary. Again, jumping back to that actual assignment, the reading summary assignment. Looks like this. You're going to submit your reading summary of Chapter 3. You can use that anchor chart to help you. However you can submit that, whether it's a Word document, writing on a piece of paper, whatever it is, submit it. That's what we're looking for the first assignment. The second assignment is complete and submit the information or informative graphic organizer that you worked on in the lesson. The writing prompt is right here for you as well, and it's in the course on page 12. The writing prompt is right here. You do have that informative graphic organizer rubric as well, so you can see how you're going to be graded. This has a lot of really good information about planning it out. You planned your hook, you planned body paragraphs with a topic sentence, an informative essay. You have everything that you need. So make sure you're looking that over because that's how we're grading you. One thing that we're going to be paying attention to with writing these next couple weeks as well are some different things as far as adverbs and adjectives. Okay, so you can go through page 8 through page 11. Will give you a lot of good information about different writing skills that you can incorporate and use within your writing, and some good videos in here as well that you can watch. So make sure to check those out. I know a lot of times we want to read through these and go really quick, but if you look, here's some really great information about hooking your reader, about writing a really good hook. So you can use this to help you when writing a hook. You can see some sample introductions here even, okay? So use this to help you out. This stuff is really good, important stuff. I know we want to skip to it a lot and just get to the end and turn in whatever we can turn in, but these lessons have a lot of really good information in them, and I encourage you to explore every part of the lesson to pull out this information, okay? So again, for the second assignment here, you're going to be planning your next piece of informative writing based on the writing prompt, which is, again, it's in the course, in the lesson, but it's also right here. On the Oregon Trail is about Otis's journey along the Oregon Trail. Use what you've learned from the story details to explain what life was like on the Oregon Trail. Use evidence from chapters 1 through 3 to support your response. So when you're planning out your writing, you got to build in a good hook, a bridge, and a controlling idea. You're going to have your topic sentences, the different reasons that life was so tough on the Oregon Trail, and then your good conclusion there. You have within this lesson, we have chapter 3, which I believe was on page 6. Right, there's chapter 3. You can also go back to week 1 is where you can find in this lesson chapters 1 and 2 to help you pull some information as well. So use all of those to help you out. If you are having trouble finding it or need a different version of it, reach out to your teacher and let us know. So again, I know this is kind of a longer video because we had 2 assignments this week, but hopefully this gets you set up for what you need to be doing for the week in ELA. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out and let us know. But we can't wait to see what you guys come up with, the awesome summarizing you do, the great graphic organizer you're going to fill out for your informative writing, and just keep rocking and rolling, friends. All right, we'll talk to you soon.